things are heating up over here. Yes, they are, and things are getting quite spicy. Some of you may have noticed that the CFO, Chief Financial Officer of Rocket Lab, has sold a good sizable holding of his Rocket Lab stock, about 14% of his overall Rocket Lab stock to be exact. Now, why would he do such a thing? I'm gonna get into that. But first, I wanna mention I was getting a little bit of heat on a previous video that I did a couple weeks ago when I said that Rocket Lab stock was going to be down for a while. And since then, guess what happened? We have gone a little to the red side. Now, I am not a Rocket Lab bear at all. In fact, I am a huge bull when it comes to Rocket Lab, and I own Rocket Lab stock, so I should be. But I did realize in the meantime, they have a lot of hurdles that they need to overcome. And if for any reason at all, one of those hurdles has a hiccup in the development of Neutron, then that could be a major problem. Question is, does Mr. Spice know something we don't know? Well, obviously he does. He's an insider. We are outsiders. So we are not privy to as much company information as he is. Now, him selling is not necessarily, you know, the end of the world, okay? It just signals that he needed money, or he thought that the stock would go down, and or it just was coincidence, you know what I'm saying? But he sold like $200 and something thousand worth of stock. Maybe he's buying a house, I don't know. But anyway, let's take a deep dive into what exactly just happened to Rocket Lab stock. What is going on right now, right? Okay, so as we can see right here, this big mountainous drop is right probably where Adam Spice sold, and people have been freaking out. You know, ever since then, we've kind of been on this downward trajectory. But you know, even at the year to date, you know, we have gone down from about 550, and now we're sitting, you know, close of Friday at like, you know, what, 4.12 to something like that? Yeah, around $4.12 per share, which we are almost in the threes. But when you look back at the history for even the past year, the majority, you know, it always kind of tends to bounce off that line from where we're at about now. And very rarely does it dip into those high threes. And when it does, it doesn't stay there for long. So when you're looking at the past history, yes, also remember that past history doesn't equal future performance. As always, typical financial advice right there. But overall, I don't think we're going to go much lower. If anything, we might bounce around sideways for a while and then probably go back up into, you know, like the 5 range. So it's not so horrible. I don't think it's gonna go down much lower from where we're at. So yeah, this is not as bad as what it seems. I think we may be seeing the worst of it right now. Now, Rocket Lab stock, as you saw, has kind of been on a downward trajectory all the way since September of 2023. And there are a couple reasons for that. Reason number one is they had that launch failure. So that one launch failure was a huge setback. Then there was a double whammy, because around that time of the launch failure, Peter Beck sold like $20 million worth of shares. That is huge. That is way more than Adam Spice just sold, right? So Peter Beck, whew, that was a big whammy. He must have been really, you know, buying something nice, maybe a yacht. But yeah, so that started the downward spiral, right? Now we have the CFO selling, Adam Spice. There goes another downward spiral. If anyone else sells between now and December, we need to be a little worried, okay? Because it might mean that they're not on track for Neutron. if we see some insiders start to buy between now and December, I think that could be a really good sign that they are, you know, on track with Neutron, that they plan to see a catalyst or whatever. I think that insider buying anytime between now and December is a fantastic sign and could be a really nice catalyst. But right now, we've already had 2 big players start selling, you know, within the past 6 months or so. So you have Peter Beck, the CEO, and now you have Adam Spice, and things have really heated up and gotten spicy in the stock, and they've turned red, and we're sweating, we're all sweating, and it's really hot, and I can't wait for like a cool down. The market lately, the whole entire market overall is insane, okay? The valuations are starting to get pretty high as far as the large caps go, but the small caps like Rocket Lab have not really seen the huge run-ups of, you know, other companies like Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, you know, all the big name players. They're having their fun in the sun, and we're out here roasting like chili peppers. But it doesn't mean that the stock won't take off. Now, like I said before, I do think Rocket Lab is gonna kind of stay flat and stagnant for a while. There are no major catalysts. You know, I mean, every launch is great, but when there's a launch, the stock doesn't really launch like the launch. So I do predict that we're gonna be stagnant. We might get back into the 5 range, you know, over time, but I'm not seeing like any grand thing unless Rocket Lab makes like this huge announcement, you know, that's just a complete mystery box. Like unless they say what their end game is with Neutron and what they're planning on doing as a service with Neutron when they get their own constellation, that could push the stock up. But honestly, if they're smart, they're going to keep their cards close to their chest, and they are not going to say what that service is until they have all their ducks in a row, Neutron is running, and the constellation is up there, their own constellation. So I don't foresee that happening to push the stock up. I see this as a really good time for accumulation, dollar cost averaging. If you are purchasing a little bit of shares at a time, you really don't have anything to worry about. And again, if you are an investor in Rocket Lab, I really think that this is only for long-term investors, because this is something that is rocket science, right? So this isn't something you can just accurately predict. Anything can happen in this field. So I believe that the reason for the stock dropping, the reason for, you know, Adam Spice selling this stock isn't necessarily, you know, indicative that Rocket Lab is doomed, okay? I do think it is a flashing warning sign, some red lights perhaps, that, you know, you shouldn't expect to make monumental returns anytime in the near term. You know, like I said, until we get Neutron up and going, this stock is going to be in accumulation phase unless they release some mystery box news that sets it really, really higher. So in the meantime, sit on your hands, don't freak out, don't panic, sell. Just close your eyes. Close your eyes and pretend you're on a roller coaster that's going down. Seriously. Some of you can stomach a roller coaster better than others. Some of you don't like roller coasters at all, and I understand that. But this stock, you know, I don't think it's too bad. I really don't. As far as a roller coaster ride, yes, it's been going down, and it does go up, and it seesaws. But you know what? I've seen other stocks that are more volatile than this. At least this, the lowest it goes is usually like the high 3s, and it bounces between like the high 3s and the 5s in that range. So it's really not as volatile and scary as a lot of people might think. So overall, yes, things have heated up, things have gotten really spicy, but I don't think there's any reason to panic. And I don't think this stock is going to the moon right away. I do think it could bounce off at the bottom and go back up to 5 possibly in the next month or so. Watch, it might even happen sooner. But overall, I think, you know, no need to worry. I know the CFO sold his shares but keep in mind, this is a long-term play. And as always, until next time, invest long and prosper.